Welcome to Inner Peace with Dr. Reese, a program that can help you become liberated in the modern world. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kevin W. Reese.
Hello, and welcome to episode number 29. Today, I want to talk about selfies, which is something you see quite often, all the time. It's a phenomenon. It's part of culture. But why? That's the question. I have Phil with me here today.
What's going on?
Phil, you're the second-time guest.
Second-time guest. Wow.
You're the first person to come on twice.
Okay. It's an honor. It's a privilege.
Okay, cool.
Appreciate it.
And last time we talked about social media as well.
Indeed.
And how it impacts the dating game and love life.
Yep.
Now, I think we have to explore this selfie syndrome that's going on. You've seen my Instagram, my Facebook, the Dr. Reese ones, and I always put out these posters, we'll call them, with the Dr. Reese logo on it, and there's, some sort of mantra or a piece of advice on there. And I have one that goes out every now and again, and it says, don't trust anyone that takes more than 5 selfies a year. It's a very controversial poster.
I was going to say that's probably ruffles a few feathers.
It does ruffle a few feathers. There's been a few people that hit me up and say, why? I don't understand. Or if they see me do a selfie.
I took 5 selfies yesterday.
Right. They see me do a selfie. They're like, you're a hypocrite. And blah, blah. What I'm doing with that poster is I'm using it as a device. So that people look inside themselves and say, whoa, I take a lot of selfies. Mm-hmm. And the purpose behind the poster is just to show people that it's not like there's a law between how many selfies you're supposed to take. There's no actual measurement.
Right.
I just made it up.
Sure.
But my thought process is, if you take that many selfies, there's something going on there inside of you. There's ego involved. Actually, big time ego involved, and people don't realize it. So what I'm saying is, if somebody takes a crap load of selfies all the time, like 5 times a week, never mind 5 times a year, how can you legitimately trust them if deep down they're really selfish?
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's definitely an attention thing for sure. I mean, I think anyone who's taking a large amount of selfies, or 5 a week or whatever it may be, not to judge or anything like that, but I think that, it's a consequence.
I don't look at it as judging though, Phil. I look at it as observation.
No, absolutely. It's observation. But I mean, I feel like it's a consequence of something else, like anything else. Everything's connected, and everything is a consequence of something else, or shows you something else at play. And I feel as though, it's kind of a lot of people that I see do that on social media are also people who also will do things like post statuses about like what's going on with them, or just like complaining about something.
Right.
And it's not really anything that's constructive or that's, getting anywhere. It's just kind of like a look at me, or oh man, what was me? Look at me, like I feel as though same type of profile, or attention getting at play essentially. With social media, where you want that dopamine release of somebody reaching out to you or liking it, or saying it's good, or you look hot, or whatever it may be, and then that makes you feel better, and then now you feel good.
Right.
But it's a temporary dose of, like a shot of, like a drug.
Correct. Correct. And who takes the more selfies, men or women?
Well, that's obviously women. I mean.
Correct.
Yes.
And so we have this new phenomenon of women they're looking for that like button. They're looking for the comments. Thirsty is the term I believe they use nowadays.
Yeah.
It's a thirst trap.
Yeah.
Is what they sometimes call it. And so what we see is we're seeing a spike of it since social media has launched this new phenomenon called stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so people run through the stories fast, like boom, 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 and they're going from this person to that person to this person. And
it's crazy. It's like a social media within the social media.
right. And then, so I know when I log onto my Facebook, so I don't have, just a FYI, I took it off my phone. So the only time I'm on social media is if I'm on my laptop.
Old
so
school.
when exactly. And so when I go onto my Facebook, the stories pop up immediately, and it's always 5 or 6 women in scantily clad clothes. And all I can think about is like walking through like Manhattan or something, and there's like a bunch of hookers on the corner.
Jeez. That's funny.
But think about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the way to get easy likes, you know. That's the way to get easy likes.
It's like, Phil, there's something happening right now, right in front of our eyes, and we've gotten so used to it over the last 10 years that we're not recognizing it as an issue, as a problem. Is it a problem in the sense of it's destroying society? No. But it's a problem in the sense of people becoming more imbalanced. And you're able to make an observation on people. Though if you end up dating a woman and you see that she's putting up these pictures before you even met her, you kind of know what you're getting in a way. Not everything, but you know you're getting a selfish person.
I mean, certainly there's some self-interest there. You'd have to say so. If somebody's posting selfies very often. I mean, I personally am not somebody who likes that type of thing. But like, you know, taking selfies of myself or just like I've never been wanting to be on camera like that, but some people really enjoy it. I understand if you're in a cool place.
Right.
Good scenery.
Sure.
You do a selfie, something behind you.
But usually someone else is taking the picture if you're...
True.
When we say selfie...
Unless you're by yourself.
Let's clarify, though. When we say selfie, we're talking about you take the camera, you turn it around, and you're stretching your arm out.
You don't even got to do that nowadays. You got the front camera on the iPhone.
True.
Or on
true.
most phones.
So I also want to give some context. Because I know some people they don't like what I'm saying right now. They feel attacked.
Sure.
They feel attacked. And only an ego can get insulted or embarrassed. But I will say this. I'm coming from a place of experience because I used to do it. I used to take a lot of selfies.
Did you?
I did.
When was this?
Before they were cool.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely.
With the big old camera?
No, just back when Facebook and Twitter first came out, I took quite a bit of selfies. Absolutely. Okay. And yeah, of course I liked it when girls are like, oh, I like your eyes or blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
Of course.
Sure.
It's a feeling of stimulation.
Right.
And I remember when I met my girlfriend back in the last girlfriend I had, the middle of 2010.
Okay.
She called me out on it. And she was a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
She was a psychologist.
Oh, okay.
She's like, yeah, that's a sign of ego. I'm like, really? No. She's like, yeah, you're changing your default picture like every 2 days, Kevin.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I look back on it now and I'm like, she was right. She was right. Now that I've had these awakenings that I've had and I've progressed, developed spiritually, I can see it like X-ray vision. It's like, it's pretty wild. And I can see right through the person that's posting the selfie. Yes, truth isn't always pretty, but...
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's elements of you. I mean, you can't deny that somebody who's changing their default picture often doesn't want people to engage with them and say, "Oh, that nice new picture, man." That's why else do you do it? What is the other point?
Right.
I literally asked this to somebody the other day. I said, why do you take selfies? Because I didn't even, she's just, somebody took a lot of. I was like, hey, not even like in a bad way, just having a conversation. She was like, yeah, I don't even know why people call me, the selfie queen. And I don't know, I just like them. I'm like, why? And she's like, I don't know, I'm not sure. They're just, you know,
Right.
they're fun.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, you know,
It's-
they are fun because it gives you, once again, stimulation.
It-
It's people saying nice things to you, or, you know, especially as a woman, especially if you're an attractive woman, you get, you know,
It's
you're going to
like-
get stimulated. It's going to boost you back up if
It's
you're
like
feeling down.
it's like fried chicken, man. It's like, why do you eat fried chicken? There ain't nothing good there.
Oh, man, it's delicious.
And that's it.
There you go.
It's stimulation.
Absolutely.
So it's the same sort of thing. I'm coming from a place of experience. I had selfie syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can barely even go on social media, never mind take a selfie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it because I can see
Yeah, it's rough
everything.
sometimes.
So it's rough. It's
Yeah.
hard to engage in that. People are looking for attention, Phil.
No, absolutely. I mean,
It's quite revealing.
absolutely. And especially nowadays, once again, because attention is so easily gotten.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you had to really work for it more.
Yeah.
Now, because, you know, you can get compliments on a daily basis, even by the minute, by the second. You post something, you're already getting positive feedback. Back in the day, you had to
Right.
like go to like a family gathering, go to a club or a bar or something. Somebody says, "Oh, you look good," and then you get that there, right? But now it's like you can literally, once again, drug yourself up on the positive emotions and stimulation of, you know, people saying nice things about the thing. And I mean, that's a good thing on one end, because, you know, people saying nice things, whatever it may be, but also it's very shallow because it leaves you, once again, like an addict, because you're like craving it, because you get used to, you know, human beings get used to whatever they're doing. Like, you know, if you're doing something a lot of it, it's like anything else. If you do a drug, you get used to it and you need more of it. You know, you need to do more of the drug, or, you know, drink
Right,
more.
right.
You get a tolerance to things, right?
Right.
And once you set your baseline at a certain height, like social media does, because social media, once again, gives you access to way more resources to, like, you know, have interact with people and get attention that way. You almost, you know, you drug yourself. People are drugged up to a certain height where, like, when they don't have it, once again, they feel depressed. That's why social media, I feel like, leads to, like, you know, more states of depression and that, because you're in a state where you're constantly looking for attention or positive reinforcement, because you can get it so quickly, like a quick hit. And then when you don't have it, it's terrible. It's awful. You feel
Yeah.
like somebody going through withdrawal of a, you know, you're just like, oh my God, like, you know, no one's saying anything nice. As a matter of fact, people being mean, saying mean stuff, you know.
Right.
So it can be like, you know, it puts you in a very precarious situation where, you know, you're too addicted or to something, and then once you don't have it anymore, you're in a situation where, you know, the ego's going to feel an extreme, like, pain and loss.
Yeah.
And then therefore you get suffering.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also people that are they're showing off their accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh God.
for example, I know a young lady who, interesting story. She had a fascination with me back when I was on the radio. So this is maybe 13, 14, 15 years ago. She came to the radio station to get tickets, and she was like, I want to meet him or whatever. And then we met out in the lobby, and she was obese. She was a big girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she was shook. I think it was the first time I've ever met anybody that was shook by me, like I was Denzel Washington or something.
Sure, yeah.
She was just whatever the term is.
Starstruck, yeah.
Starstruck, yeah. Anyway, so that was that. Mad years later, she lost the weight.
Uh-oh.
And she's fit and good-looking girl, and
Good for her.
she shows it off.
Sure, yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
There's a new picture. There's a new selfie every day.
She's balling now.
And it's like, yeah, man, she's so proud of her accomplishment.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was curious one day. I looked at the comments, and there's guys making their flirtational
Sure.
remarks.
The best way to get a woman.
And she's probably loving it.
Oh, yeah.
And I talked to her about it, and she was like, yeah, I used to have this huge crush on you, blah blah blah. And she's like, I'm not shy anymore, and I'm into myself now. And I'm like, well, at least she's honest. She's into herself.
Sure.
But, you know, good for her for getting healthier. But, you know, not completely realizing that she's still searching for something there. And tons of people are. When they lose weight, or they hit the gym and they gain abs or whatever it is, and now they want to show that off. There's also the element of business. So I understand that part.
Yeah.
If someone's a model, well, yeah, you got to take pictures of yourself all the time.
Right, yeah.
If you're a fitness trainer, maybe, same thing. If you're some sort of health guru or something like that, you might take pictures of yourself. And the new craze also that just started probably about 5 years ago, Instagram really launched it, is the whole, I don't know what the term is, but I call it an Insta blog. It's where somebody takes a selfie and then underneath is like 7 paragraphs. It's like they're writing an article.
Yeah.
So the selfie leads to them breaking down the protein in a certain food or something. Sure. So there's content there.
Yeah.
But the selfie leads to the reading.
Right.
So I've noticed that. That's a trend. So there are different dynamics of the selfie.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a way for people to showcase their accomplishments. The thing that I don't like, which is kind of related to the selfie in terms of attention getting, is kind of like a selfie. Like, there's gym selfies and stuff like that, whatever. Gym's the easiest one because that's the one that most commonly happens. But there's other things, too, where people will grandstand and kind of like, they did something. Or my favorite is when, someone went to the gym one time. Or, like, it's like their third time, or, like, they're starting and then, like, they're posting. It's like, hey, at least post the pictures when you've gotten there. I'm way more cool with people posting it once you've accomplished the accomplishment. Yeah, you're trying to like floss a little bit and grandstand a bit, but at least get there, because when you're not consistent in doing anything or accomplishing anything, and then you're posting about it, then you're just because a lot of people do use social media for that as well. They try to create an illusion, a facade. Already, social media is bad enough because it only is showing the highlights, and you're showing the best version of yourself, the best selfie. I mean, how many of us have been with people or had significant others where they take a selfie or they take a picture and then they take like 5 more or 6 more, 10 more even, and they got to pick the best one out of those.
Right.
So it's not even like the first one that they took. It's not a pure moment. It's, certainly it's edited, everything's edited.
Right.
So there's also people purposely putting things out that aren't necessarily 100% true. Like they go to the gym often, or they got this going on, they got a lot of money, or they buy expensive stuff.
Smoke and mirrors.
Absolutely.
Smoke and mirrors.
And they try to make people think that I'm this big baller, or I'm this way, when you're not really about that life sometimes.
We grew up as, hip hop heads. It's like the gangster rapper that's not a rap. They're gangster, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of those type of things, right?
Just the cool guys,
Yeah. And it is smoke and mirrors, and we can never know what somebody's going through in their own mind. We can't walk in other people's shoes. I get it all the time. It happened to me just the other day. Somebody hit me up and was like, "Oh, I see everything you're doing. It's so amazing, and I'm so proud of you." And I'm just like, I'm not doing anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, I do this little podcast and I promote it every Monday, and otherwise, what are you seeing on my page?
Right.
If I do an event for Eat the Sunlight, which isn't as often as probably should be, of course I'm going to post it. That's the part of, you have to share.
Sure.
By no means am I knocking it out of the park from a business standpoint. So it's funny when somebody makes a comment like that. It's like, oh, this social media thing, it's really skewing
Sure. Yeah.
the viewpoint.
There's the other most common one is, how many times have we, or have you seen a couple that on social media looks great, but if you know them intimately, or you've been around them, or you find out from one of the people talking to you, oh man, we've been arguing a lot, it's been tough and blah blah blah, and like, you would never know.
Yeah.
You would never know. If you were just going through the profiles, you'd be like, this is like the happiest relationship ever.
Yeah.
It's like back in the day, in the 90s, it was like the magazines used to make you feel bad because you wanted to be the people in the magazines. Now with social media, it's almost like we are the magazines trying to we're the own editor of our own magazines, and we're just putting out all this fakeness. And then now everyone is reading our articles and our, subscription to our nonsense that's not really fake. It's airbrushed nonsense.
You're spot on, man. You heard of fake news?
Oh,
This is fake lives.
Fake world.
Fake lives.
Yeah.
And isn't it enough that the real world is fake?
Right.
It's an illusion based on the patterns of thinking you've developed.
Right. Yeah.
And then social media adds a whole other layer.
Yeah, it makes you think a certain different thing. And I mean, I think that, like you said, the world is fake. Like, it's already fake out there. I feel like it's not like social media created fakeness. Obviously, certainly didn't create ego.
No.
But like anything else with social media and the internet, it just makes the resources more readily available and more like 10 times what it was before.
Yeah, it's a magnifying glass.
So it's a magnifying glass that multiplies it. It makes it just look, it just intensifies it really.
Right.
Gives it more fuel, more steam.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Hopefully, someone listening to this pod episode, sort of has a small awakening on this, because the more selfies you put up, the more advertising you're putting out to someone like me that you're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
The more attention you're trying to seek. It's clear as day. You might as well be on the corner saying, why don't you come over here, Big Papa?
Right.
You might as well just,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm exaggerating for the sake of humor, but it's an interesting sort of parallel metaphor.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in general, selfies, but also anything that's attention seeking. I always am careful because, like, I don't like to seem thirsty, like, thirsty or just like, I don't know. To me, it's not attractive when you're thirsty or when you're attention seeking, because usually those who are attractive are those who are solid in their own, demeanor or their own selves and move forward without needing anything from others.
Right.
So, I don't know. Just it's kind of, certainly it's not good for your ego. It's not good for your mental health. But also, I just feel like it's not really attractive when you're putting yourself out there like that. It's almost like, if anybody's had somebody try to get at them or be like, hey, you want to go out with me? Asking you all the time. It's it's desperate. Desperation is not attractive, and just in any sense, whether you're friend, romantic, or just just a peer. When you're too desperate for someone else's approval.
Yeah.
And social media definitely does that. And selfies and other things, grandstanding and things like that, what your accomplishments are ways to sort of like hide that approval seeking, where you're just like, I really want these people's approval, but like it's a much more discreet way to go about it.
Phil, you said a key term, man. You said mental health.
Mm-hmm.
The selfie syndrome is not good for the mental health, and they don't even know it. Completely blind to it. I met a girl recently the other day. She's living in the UK. She's from Poland. I was so attracted to her page, man. She had...
Dziękuję. That's the only Polish I know.
She didn't have many selfies. She had a few, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fine with that. That's fine. Take a few selfies. But, her content was spiritual based, and there was just all these motivational quotes and things like this, and I was like, I like that. I put a little comment underneath one of her pictures that said we should know each other.
Oh, nice. Look at you.
And so we ended up in the DMs.
Okay.
And
slid on in there.
and she was like, I gotta check out the podcast. So yeah, if you're listening, hi.
Tip of the cap. To Poland in the building.
But I love it when I come across a woman with that type of profile.
Yeah.
That's not just centered around herself.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. I mean, once again, somebody who doesn't need your approval, is their own person, and isn't going to be needy afterward in terms of like potential partner. It's crazy out here with the selfies.
And people don't understand ego. They don't understand what it is. They think it's a slang word for arrogant or cocky, and it's not. That's not what it is. It's almost like a
false self.
Yeah, it's a false self. It's like a con man in your head that is playing is a puppeteer to your thoughts and your emotions. And of course, I did a whole episode on this called Dissolving the Ego, which I recommend people go back to and listen if you haven't. Listen to all the first 12 episodes. But, ego is, for the most part, it's the root cause of all of our mental suffering. Sometimes physical suffering too. But our mental suffering comes from ego. It comes from pride. It comes from lusting after something. It comes from thinking you're something that you're not. And this selfie syndrome, as we call it, is contributing to that. That's fire. That's gasoline on the flame, man.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I think you see it manifest in other ways, such as cancel culture, which is recent, where everyone, because of the attracted attention, the more internet, social media attention that you get on a minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour basis, you then have people who overvalue their own opinions.
Yeah.
Whether they're experienced in the subject or not.
That's right. Whether
they like something or not. And they think because if they don't like something or they don't agree with something now, that should not exist, because once again, it's not a positive thing. It's not it's not like the selfie where you're getting attention. It's something that's negative that you don't want to deal with because you're too drugged up on the positive emotions and the positive stuff.
Yeah.
And it creates a monster ego that, once again, you have this ego self where you think that it just grows and becomes almost like like a monster, and out of proportion, where you think that you're something that you're not, or you're bigger than you are, or you know better than other people, or you're smarter than other people, what have you.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're an expert on everything, or whatever it may be, and that causes some of the consequences we see in society today, with people being overly sensitive.
Yes.
Easily, needing safe spaces, or easily irritated, or easily, having to walk out or not deal with something because they can't tolerate things that they're not used to liking or indulging in. Because even with social media, you can literally only have a list of friends that all agree with you about everything all the time, so that your feed, or whatever it may be, always has a constant flow of, an echo chamber of you hear the same things that you like, and then you hear anything that's completely different. It's going to bother you, and you're going to think that, no, this is not wrong. It's appealing to your ego self, where you're saying, this is all I see all the time, so this is what is right. No, nothing else can be right but what I myself think is right.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of consequences, and the ego gets to a point where we're seeing consequences of inflated egos in society, of people just, egos unchecked, and far too much attention getting.
Yeah. Yes. And then there's a small demographic of people that aren't on social media at all, and I'm like 2 sandwiches away from that. So we'll see what happens, but I my life has improved since I've removed, unattached from social media, and I still go on there because I kind of have to. And I think that's a good tip for people, is to, maybe take it off their phone. And
at least take a break.
Taking breaks is good. A little detox.
Yeah, I like to take a break from a little while, because, there's been times where I knew it was a problem when I'd be on Instagram or Facebook on my phone, and then you hit the home button, or you exit out, and then you look around your phone real quick, and then you go right back into the same app. You go back into Facebook or Instagram, the same exact application. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of addictive behavior. I don't like that.
And you have to be self-aware in order to pick that up.
Right.
Otherwise, you're dreaming. You're a zombie. You don't even realize it.
Right.
It's real deal, man. And it's like what television used to be. You know, people can't sit there and be alone anymore, so their phone is an extension of their television.
It's even worse because it's people you know a lot of times.
Yeah.
People you know or people you want to be like or people that you like as celebrities.
Yeah.
That you get to see, you get to, because everybody's naturally, human beings are naturally nosy.
Yeah.
So you naturally want to know what's going on with everybody. And people always want to feel like they figured out other people. So they'll be like, yeah, that's him. I see he's got a picture of a motorcycle. He does this. He's like, yeah, he likes Harley Davidson. He's
Start
a motorcycle.
comparing.
Yeah, they try to compare and oh, he does this and I got the same size house as him. And you do all those types of things that, you know, also lead to depression off social media.
Yes.
Where why don't my selfies look as good as her selfies?
Yes.
What can I do to have as good as selfies as her?
Yes. And that's another thing about the selfies, man. It's causing a state of comparison. I've talked about this on the podcast before. You start comparing, even it's ingrained in our patterns.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now maybe a 5-year-old wouldn't, but a 50-year-old will, a 30-year-old will.
Mm-hmm.
Automatically going to start comparing. You know,
Naturally, yeah.
and then you got a lot of guys shooting their shot at these women putting up their selfies.
Oh my goodness, it's like took catcalling to a new level. It's catcalling where everybody could see it for like days.
And it's like, how many DMs do these women have
Oh Jesus.
of guys shooting their shot?
Yeah, just in comment sections.
How good do you think that makes them feel?
Oh yeah.
They're intoxicated.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're intoxicated.
Mm-hmm. That's how you create a monster. Somebody that thinks they're so great off of what?
Right.
I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. If you worked hard, you keep yourself fit. You know, there's a certain level of maintenance that's required to be attractive or to maintain an attractive physique, what have you. But I mean, beauty is quite common. I mean, some people aren't beautiful, some are. But when you look around the world, it's a lot of beautiful people. It's really not something where it's like, oh man, we only got like 100 of them. Keep them in like a safe or something.
Unicorns.
You know, right? Like
Right.
it's like no, they're everywhere. Every city I've ever been to, even if it's like a small one, you see pretty people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like an uncommon thing. So really, being beautiful or being pretty or just drawing attention just to that solely, or using that once again. I know women talk about this, you know, be more than just a pretty face sometimes, you know, or have accomplishments because you just don't want to be like the pretty girl, you know what I mean? They say that because it's really not something that you can rely on. And I mean for men too, because, you know, it goes the other way with having a ripped physique or just looking good, being handsome, or just, you know, getting attention that way, because men certainly do it as well.
Yeah.
But once again, it's, you know, it's not something that it's very cheap in the sense that it's not something that you worked for or accomplished. It's literally a roll of the dice. Nobody gets to choose how they were born or what they look like or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then now people who have the luck of being some of the ones that are beautiful get to, like, you know, use that as a way to dope themselves up, or, you know, gas themselves up, if you will, to, you know, feel like they're so much better than they really are.
Right.
You know, and I mean, yeah, sure, you can make a career off of things like that, certainly as a woman, you know, as a model and things of that nature. But for most regular people or people who have other desires, it's something that, you know, you're using selfies in order to feel like the president, you know,
Yeah.
to make you feel like your opinion is great and you're a special person.
No matter how beautiful you are, the most beautiful girl in the world takes a dump.
Yeah, and we all do. No matter how much people want to act like they don't, we don't.
You know, everyone, you know, our intestines are a certain way, our
Yeah.
liver,
Yeah.
and we're so consumed with the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, we're all electricity. We're all like electrons and energy,
we're all the same.
and we're all made from the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
We're all connected. We're all the same.
that's right. So I hope that this episode has helped somebody
Mm-hmm.
realize, have a little wake-up call that
It's not about you.
it's not about you. If you're going to take that many selfies, and that's why the poster I made says no more than 5 a year. And that was just basically 1 a quarter and a bonus.
Right. Yeah. 1.25 and a Christmas bonus on the selfie.
Right. So, you know, there's no actual measurement to it, but 5 seems okay. Don't blow it all in 1 week.
Yeah. Seriously.
You only got so many selfies, folks.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, you're not what you think you are. You're not that special. I'm sorry. I know maybe you need a hug after hearing that, but you're just not that special.
Do something about it with your actions.
Yeah.
Not just posting it on social media. Make your actions be something special. The things you do in the world and how you reach other people. That's what should be special, or that's why people should be giving you compliments or, you know, real life likes.
Yes.
Because they like you and what you do and how you make them feel.
Yes.
Not because you putting something out and people are like, oh, I like this. And then now you feel like, oh, man, I'm an awesome person. Isn't it great when I put stuff on social media because I feel like a great person? That's not how you feel like a great person in the long run. It's temporary and it's fleeting, and you need to keep on doing it over and over like any drug.
Yep. Well said. So again, if you're looking for the inner peace practice, go back to episode 1. The first 12 episodes of this podcast are the inner peace practice. And then from there, I talk to interesting people of peace, get their tips, get their stories, bring on guests such as Phil, and just give you something that you can listen to once a week and stay steady with and relaxed with. You know, this is meant to be relaxed. I want people to be able to lay down and listen to this and not just listen to it while they're driving.
Yeah.
So, Phil, where can somebody come say hello to you?
Yeah. At Phil Felipe on, well, you can find me there on Facebook, excuse me. Instagram, Felipe the Great. And also Twitter. That's where I'm at.
Oh, it's just a screen name. It's fine.
It's just a screen name, you know? I mean, hey, when in Rome, right?
How many selfies do you take?
Is it like 0? If I do, like, I don't take selfies ever. And I just feel like it's just like I'm a guy.
Well, maybe that's why you're great. It's because you're not taking selfies.
No, I mean, I just feel like it's not my thing.
Right.
No, it's not about you, like we said. It's every religious practice, selflessness isn't about others.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
Not about the self or the selfie.
If you're looking for my work, podcasts, webinars, books, go to drreese.com. That's doctor spelled out. And I'll talk to you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Inner Peace with Dr. Reese. If this episode opened your heart, feel free to share on social media and tell your loved ones. Also, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, may peace be with you.